When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs. And this week, I'm really excited because we have a guest that was a previous guest. I'll have to go back and look at which episode she was a guest on because it was many, many moons ago. I want to say it was probably 2 years ago, two and a half years ago. And she's back. And boy, does she have a lot to report from the first time she was on the episode to where she is today. And that, my friends, is all about taking the leap. Roberta Hughes is with us today, and we're going to dive into everything peaceful living, which is what her brand is. And I've used her brand now for 2 years since we've met, have brought it into my life. You know, when we're designing our life, we need to remember we're not just designing our businesses. We have to design our health around that wealth. It's very important to do that. And so there are days where I just need to take time in the morning to do some yin yogas and stretch my body out. I think it is so important for us to remember our health along the journey of building our wealth. And she's been building a lot of wealth for herself lately. So we're going to get into conversations of all the changes that have happened with peaceful living since the time she was here last. And then I will be sure to go find the episode and drop it into the notes below so that all of you have the notes on what her previous episode was, so you can go watch that as well. But before we get to Roberta, I do want to thank our sponsor of today's show, Ally Spine Center. And what sets our office apart from the offices is our focus and expertise in treating degenerative spinal conditions, including disc disease, bulging and herniated discs, spinal stenosis, neuropathy, sciatica, pain, tingling, and numbness in the arms, hands, legs, and feet, as well as severe and chronic neck pain and headaches. It all sounds awful. I'm just going to say it all sounds horrible. I have been to this center. They did help me with some neck pain, and it was all because they were treating the actual root cause and they weren't treating the symptoms. So they actually use pre and post images to determine your structural improvement of the spine. And I had some issues with my spine that needed to be improved. So they focused on the spine, which then helped the symptom of what I was having from my spine needing to be moved. So if you or someone is suffering from any of these lists of items that I spoke about earlier, please contact Ally Spine Center at 480-809-4700 or visit them at allyspinecenter.com. And I know they're located in Arizona, but that should not stop you from reaching out to them at their phone number, because they're connected with corrective care specialists all across the nation. So I will tell you, if you're just going to the chiropractor and you're not really going to someone who's going to correct the problem, they're literally just treating the symptoms. So stop treating the symptoms and get back to actually getting to the root cause. All right, let's talk to Roberta Hughes, because I'm so excited to introduce you to her again, especially for those of you that are new listeners, for you to get to know a little bit more about Roberta. Everyone that meets Roberta, by the way, just immediately feels calmer, because she has this spirit. And it's the first thing I said to her when I interviewed her. It was the first time I had ever met her. She was a guest on the show. And I said, oh my gosh, I just love your energy. It is so calming for my high energy that I carry around on a regular basis. By the way, everyone, I can't help it. People say they love my energy. You either love it or you hate it. I'll just say that right now, because I can't help it. I have this zest for life. I have this high energy. I'm very passionate, and it comes out in my movement, in my how vocal I am, and in everything that I do. I just can't help it. But Roberta's really like that kind of yin yang with me. She's like the opposite of that. and brings so much calmness and peace. And that's why I love her online membership, because her online community is absolutely amazing for me. Roberta Hughes is the founder and lead instructor at Peaceful Living, where she focuses on redefining people's relationship with stress, with offering like 5-minute Zen breaks and short yoga sessions that easily fit into your workday. Roberta's calming presence makes it possible to quiet our busy minds and ease the weight of what we're carrying, both mentally and physically. Through both virtual and in-person offerings, Roberta makes it easy to slow down, move your body, and breathe from the comfort of your home office or hotel room. I have used them in a hotel room as well. So Roberta Hughes, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Colleen. It's so good to be back. And it's hard to believe it's been 2 years since I've been here.
It's crazy. And then to look at everything that you've done in the last 2 years, I mean, you should be jumping up and down, patting yourself on the back, just extremely happy with everything that you've done, from teaching in your living room with a mat during, 2020. You have a lot of your videos are outside. You're in your living room now. You built a studio in your house, then you built a second studio in your house. So why don't you share the story? I'd love for you to kind of start with Peaceful Living and why you started Peaceful Living, what, where that came from based on your background. So give us a little bit about your background, and then don't spoil it. I don't want you to tell everything about where you are today, but
Okay.
but up to the point of the big changes that you made in 2024.
Okay. So my experience, I started a yoga class at the age of 19. Prior to that, I coached gymnastics. And prior to that, I was a gymnast, a cheerleader. So movement has been part of my life for my whole life. I went through yoga training and have 200-hour yoga certifications. I'm a comprehensive certified Pilates instructor. I also have a Divine Sleep Yoga Nidra certification for guided meditation, and recently did a training for facial reflexology. So I am a student and a practitioner myself. So I practice every day one of those modalities, and I'm a teacher, and I've always loved to teach. So in 2018, I started Peaceful Living more as an inspiration. My degree is actually in journalism and public relations, and I love to write. So I wanted a website that just felt inviting and inspiring, that people could come to, read a blog, get some inspiration for bringing more peaceful moments into their life. And I was teaching Pilates at a studio at the time, and then 2020 happened and we couldn't be in the studio anymore. And that really launched my online platform. And it was an organic process. I started teaching 3 times a week on Facebook, yoga classes, because my mom in Arizona, I live in Colorado now, was not able to go to her yoga classes. And she had been going to yoga for 20 years. And she was really missing the community. So I started one on Facebook, and I would have people from all over join in. And then one day I just thought, I'll start recording the audio when I teach a yoga class. My son does video editing, audio editing. So then we sat down together and created the videos that are polished on the Peaceful Living video library. And every week I continue to teach live stream classes, and those get uploaded. So now I have more than 150 videos in that online library, and you use those, other people use those, and it makes it really convenient to supplement your practices that you're already doing, or to find something that you can do when you're traveling or unable to get to your normal workout routines.
I think it's important that you said that, because I'm not one that likes to go to a studio. So I'll just admit that now. I used to be a gym rat. I would go to the gym, during lunchtime when I worked in corporate America. And I felt like I was always on the go, right? I was always going places. I never really utilized my house for those types of things. And maybe it's because it's what I needed back then. But now I prefer to get up in the morning, have my quiet time, do my journaling, do my meditation, read, really fill my brain and, my body. And then I want to move my body. So I don't want to change my clothes, get in the car, drive down to the gym. And I'm pretty lucky. There is a gym in my neighborhood. So I could just drive to Mountainside Fitness if I wanted, and work out. I love my Lululemon mirror that I have. It's probably one of my favorite things. But I'm not hip on their yoga or their yin yoga or their stretching. I just have this preference of you. And
Yeah.
I think, for everyone listening, when you go to a yoga studio or you have a personal, a trainer, you kind of find your vibe, your favorite person, right? The person that really fits you. And you became that for me, because of the way that you guide us through all of the movements. I've never seen anything like that in all my years of taking yoga. I've never really had an instructor that was so available with words and support. And I don't have to ever look at the screen. I can have my eyes closed, and you're detailed on exactly what I need to be doing, how I need to be breathing, reminding me about things that you forget about when you're in a pose. And I love that about how you teach. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I want to do it in the comfort of my home. And it wasn't COVID that changed that for me. It was way before that. I just really love having that time in the morning. And I feel like I can maximize my time, not having to go somewhere. So for me, the online community works perfectly. Now, for other people, you say it's a supplement because they may go to an in-person studio for something and then need something at home where they're not having a scheduled time. So how do they supplement that? When you created Peaceful Living, you created that to be a supplement for people. But I also think some people are using it as their only way
Yes.
of, yoga or yin yoga or meditation.
Yes, we have all of that, and we even have Pilates mats. So for people who want a more active practice, you can get all of the things that your body needs just from the Peaceful Living library. However, people love other types of workouts. Some people like spin classes. Some people like to lift weights. Some people like to go hiking. So if those are things that you truly love and want to do and want to keep in your life, Peaceful Living is not an instead of, it's a support for, because all of the movements that we're doing are going to support your body so that you move healthier in all of the activities that you're already doing.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because yin yoga is a supplement to my lifting weights, because that's where I find that my muscles seem to shrink or get tighter during the workouts. So usually at least once a week, I have to do a yin yoga class to stretch all those muscles that I haven't stretched, really all week. We're
Yeah.
talking like a 45-minute stretch, right? Deep
Yes, yes.
into
And the
the
great thing about yin yoga, because it is passive and we're tugging on the connective tissue, we're also hydrating our bodies. And you and I are at a similar age and stage of life. And as we get to those different stages, those later stages of life, our bodies naturally dehydrate. So we have to keep them hydrated with our nutrition, with drinking good water, and with movement. And yin yoga really does hydrate the tissues to keep them elastic and moving well.
Yeah, yeah, it does for me. Like it's huge for my hips, and all the things that I need. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit now. So it's 2023, and Peaceful Living has been building. I guess I should back up. The first day I met Roberta on the podcast, her and I connected right away. She loved my energy. I loved her energy. And we actually wound up working together. And so Roberta's been in my circle since, a couple of years ago. So I've had the pleasure of watching her business grow, being along that journey with her. And I should say, um, she took a huge leap, which she had taken in the past, many, many, many years ago. But this was different. And I'm so proud of you that you took the leap, even though in the past you had kind of experimented with having a studio, and going that route. And, a lot of changes have happened in the world over the past several years. But tell us where you were at in your business and what the big decision was for why you had decided to take this leap.
I'd love to answer that question, but I also want to rewind to that first time that we met, because my relationship with you has been the inspiration for the things that are occurring in my life right now. And the first big leap that I took was taking you on as my business coach, because everything that I was doing, I loved, but those business pieces I didn't have confidence in. And to take the leap and ask for support from somebody who was very savvy in the business world, and someone who's so supportive of women, like that has been a big foundation for where I am right now. So I want to say thank you. And now fast forward to 2024. Years ago, I had tried to open a yoga studio, and I think the timing just wasn't right. I had small children. The odds were not in my favor. The landlord was not very kind. So there were many reasons that it didn't work out. So it kept me from having the thought that I would ever do that again. And in our business intensive in October, I remember sitting in the room and you said, one day you'll have a brick and mortar. And that was in October. And then February of 2024, Valentine's Day, an old friend from Lifetime Fitness, when I was there as the Pilates director, walked into my yoga class at another studio and told me about a location where she was doing massage. So I went and looked at the space thinking I would be doing it for my facial reflexology for Tranquil Touch. But the doctor who owns the building said she had built this yoga studio in 2020, hoping to do prenatal yoga classes, and nobody could ever use it. So it's the perfect size for me to do all of the things that I teach. So I'm offering Pilates classes, yoga classes, and facial reflexology sessions, and a semi-private personalized experience, which is exactly the way that I love to work with people.
Yeah, I always tell Roberta she's the Lululemon of, of yoga and Pilates. She's a very high-end boutique in Parker, Colorado. And I love, love, love her original focus was really growing the community. That was her original focus. And I want to grow this large community. And that was really what she wanted to focus on. And she had local clients. And there was just a point, I think, where it was like, why aren't you focusing local? Like, so many people local love you. Why don't you do more local? And it only makes sense because she was driving from place to place to place. And anyone who is an instructor that teaches at several different places or needs a different space to rent to be able to work with private clients, she was spending more time in her car and more, time in paying all of these different places in rent than she was really getting the enjoyment out of people coming to her and being able to spend that deep one-on-one time with her clients the way she wants to. Because you're just a different level. I tell everybody that you're not a large yoga studio where someone's just going to come in and you have 15 classes a day. It's just not who you are. You're very boutique style. Your yoga studio, or I should say your studio, because you do a lot of Pilates in that studio.
I do.
And now she's already busting at the seams. She opened in May. You had a big grand opening. And you're already looking for spaces for fitting more classes for more private clients, and looking at using now another room in the building for you to expand. That is a winner's story. This story is about you putting in the work, you working on yourself through this and getting over those previous fears that you had of getting a brick and mortar again, and believing in yourself. And you've tracked and you've learned to track your numbers. You learn to project. You have a team of people that work with you now that you've brought on to help you keep the brand secure and communicating with your circle of individuals that are in your community, as well as you've increased your wealth. And you had some, pretty big goals coming in of what you wanted to accomplish. And you've been able to do that. It's so, so exciting.
It really is.
You put in the work.
Thank you.
And of course, I've hired Roberta to come and work in my retreat. So I do masterminds every year, and I've brought her in as someone that can really teach the women that are working on big goals throughout the year how to keep taking care of themselves through that process. We have to remember that if you're not focusing on taking care of yourself through the time that you're building, your health will suffer. And then
Yes.
eventually you got to pull back from
And
that.
I think it's a continuing conversation because even for me now, with all of my knowledge and ability to care for myself with my new schedule, I'm having to try different routines to make sure that I'm getting all of those pieces in. And one of the biggest things I remind people is not to cancel on themselves. And I started doing that the first couple of weeks that I was open. And then I caught myself and said, no, I can't keep taking myself off my calendar and giving that time to somebody else, because then I'm going to run out of the energy to be present for the people that are showing up here for services that I want to offer.
I think that's a great message that you're sending. We can't cancel on ourselves, and we're the first person we cancel on. We're the
Always.
first person we let go, we let down, first person we cancel on. It's always us, right?
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, someone else needs something, or I have to do this other thing. And it's like, I'll just take that time off my calendar that I had for me. And that's why I don't allow anything to take my morning, and why my morning is so sacred to me. Because if I'm not filling up myself first, I have nothing to give all day. And I spent 20, 30 years like that, where it was always serving my kids and work and corporate America and everybody else. And my health suffered. I will tell you, annually, I was always sick, always had a cold. Annually, I always had health issues happening, but yet I was working out, I was eating great, but I wasn't sleeping, but more than like 5 hours every night. And I was always go, 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 pouring into everyone else. And I never did anything for me. There was never a time for myself to do anything other than running or working out, or that was it that I had for myself. It took a toll. I think it aged me. Like, I had a lot of wrinkles coming into entrepreneurship. I
Well,
need to do
I'm
a before
glad
and
that,
after photo.
yeah, I'm glad that you talked about how you would have your downtime, like running, working out. And most high achievers think that that is their rest time, that if they're not working and they're getting a good workout, getting those endorphins, that they're helping their bodies, but you're actually taking more energy away from your body. So to have intentional nourishing practices, our bodies need genuine rest in order to function and to stay healthy. So although working out is wonderful, you still need that supplement and support of genuine rest and nourishment.
Yeah, no one would believe me today if I told them I sat every morning and meditated for 10 minutes. They'd be like, "What? How do you even sit still for 10 minutes to meditate?" And I do, because I've
Yeah.
learned all of that from you and how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. And you do Zen breaks, which are, anyone listening can do it throughout the day, whether you're a dental hygienist, whether you're a CEO running a company, whether you work with kids and you're a teacher. Explain those Zen breaks, because I think they're so important for us to remember. It doesn't take a lot of time to nourish your body and your soul.
Yeah, the Zen breaks really were created for that reason. They're 2 minutes to 7 minutes long. I think the longest one is 7 minutes, and they're fully guided. So all you have to do is push play and listen. You can do it sitting in a parked car. You can do it between Zoom sessions. You can do it between patients if you're at an office seeing clients. So it's just this little morsel of nourishment to reset your focus, reset your mind, take a few breaths, and be present for what's coming up next.
You know, lately, since Roberta started spreading her wings local in the Colorado area, and Parker especially, she's been able to be at the Charles Schwab Fair. You've met so many now employees of Charles Schwab, as well as real estate agents that own brokerages, that are bringing you in for their team. It's an endless opportunity of how you can utilize peaceful living for your team, for yourself individually. And I would say you probably do. I know many of your clients, and I think you work with a lot of high achievers.
I
Um,
do.
and they need that. They're looking for that balance in their life that you can give them, because you really understand that you're not trying to change them. You're trying to really help them, add with their work schedule how they're able to nourish themselves. And I see them progressing like me and taking a little bit more time and a little bit more time and a little bit more steps. It takes time for change. I'm just going to say little
It's
by
those
little by
baby
little.
steps.
It
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
is. And you're so
And
successful at it.
well, I think, when we're successful, when we take one small step and it works, then we're encouraged to take another small step. And that was the same for me with the business choices and the business learning. One small thing at a time, one small thing at a time. And then you strengthen those muscles, those skill sets, and those tools. So then you have a full toolbox of things that you can use when stress hits you or when life unexpectedly turns and brings you something that may not be easy to go through.
Yeah. A lot of things fester before it actually becomes a symptom. And I think we
Mhm.
need to remember that, if you're feeling any type of disease in your body, any tightness, anything that doesn't feel right, or that your body is not functioning at 100%, I love the community because I don't live in Colorado. If I lived in Colorado, Roberta knows I would be there every week for a tranquil touch. I would be in class with her because I just love her presence. And I mean, it goes to show, like, you need life for the things that you're missing, right? So, for the things that we're missing in life, if we bring in those individual people and they bring us fun, or they bring us peace, or they bring us whatever it is that they're bringing us, having those individuals surrounding us give us the opportunity to lean more into it, because we're not necessarily the only ones that can do that. We need people supporting us. Um,
Yeah.
in that
And
movement.
I have always been really focused on creating meaningful relationships, even through my online community. I know each member, I know what they enjoy, I know what they need, and then I can make recommendations. So that personalized piece is great for the person that is seeking help, as well as for the person offering help, because with that relationship, it's so much more appropriate and meaningful and everlasting.
I should mention I was at Roberta's retreat. She does annual retreats. So, if you're like, oh, this sounds so amazing, and I would love to, this is why I went to the retreat. I was like, I just want to go somewhere where there can be an instructor that focuses on my, like, peaceful time in a weekend, right? Just
Yeah.
stretching and eating healthy and building a community, but really just focused on me pouring into myself for a weekend. I rarely ever do that. In fact, yours was the first one I'd ever been on that I wasn't a presenter, I wasn't teaching, it wasn't my own retreat. I could just be Colleen Biggs in a room and just soak up everything. It was so nice. So
Yes.
nice.
And I'm so happy that you did that for yourself. And, when you say healthy eating, I think sometimes people think of untasty food, but our chef was so amazing. Like
Yeah.
the presentation and the taste of the food was beautiful and delicious. That for me definitely is a high level experience. I want food to be beautiful and nourishing and delicious. So for me, healthy food has all of those qualities. And I did just add to my website, anyone who's interested in coming on the retreat in 2025, we do this in February. I have an interest form, so you can go put your name, your email address, and then as the details come into place, you'll be the first ones to get the information and the opportunity to register. We do keep this small, no more than 8 to 12 women, and that will be our max. So it'll be a very intimate experience.
Well, we'll have that link below. And of course, we want you to go to peacefulliving.com. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you, Roberta?
So my email is roberta@peacefulliving.com. Full has 2 L's, so it's 3 L's all in a row. You can also fill out an interest form on peacefulliving.com.
Great. Okay. You can connect with her as well on Facebook and Instagram for anyone looking at Roberta Peaceful Living, Instagram, Roberta Peaceful Living _ Peaceful Living as well. And I highly recommend that you connect with her and check out her online community. If you are in Colorado, in the Parker area, and you're looking to be able to attend, I would say in person, you should, because that I really do wish I lived there for her to be able to do that. And every single time I'm around Roberta, I'm all about the tranquil touch because I love them so, so, so much. I'm not a facial person. I don't like all the creams, but the facial reflexology and the lymph drainage and everything that I get from that time with her, that would be a regular weekly thing for me if I lived there. So whenever I am in her presence, we take advantage of that as soon as we can. So Roberta, thank you so much again for being here. Congratulations on your success. You truly are a great example of someone who has taken the leap, just like this podcast is about, and has landed on both of your feet. And you trusted in faith, and you trusted that you could do it and moving forward and being guided and getting getting those wins along the way. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. And I feel like this is the beginning of a new chapter. So I'm so excited to see where things will go.
So am I. So am I. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I will tell you that for sure. Roberta's also one of our sponsors of the Leap of Take the Leap podcast. So thank you for that as well, Roberta. All right, everyone, that is just about all we have today. So I'm just going to remind you, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that's ever going to be. So are you going to make peaceful moments for yourself in your life, or are you going to continue to keep pushing yourself aside and canceling on yourself on a regular basis because you're not that important? Well, Roberta and I are here to say that you are important and you shouldn't be canceling on yourself, and you deserve peaceful moments in your life. So for all of you joining us, thank you so much. And until next time, be you and be strong. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.